Hey guys, how you doing today? Trusty here. This video is my first video on PUBG news or update information. Whether you're coming from the server or just from YouTube or from whatever source, I do welcome you and I hope you enjoyed. This is just a little information update here on the PC 1.0 update, number 14 that PUBG is releasing. Today, May 30th, 2018. It's supposed to release at 10 p.m. EST, along with a leaderboard reset. So without further ado, I'm just going to read through the patch notes here, so we'll go over some things. First, it says there's main changes, frag grenade changes, stun grenade, and Molotov changes. So there's a video here I'll show you guys in a second, but the frag grenade will have more damage. The damage to the frag grenade increases damage and effective range. Frags previously had be within 2.6 meters of player models to deal lethal damage. They now deal lethal damage within 3.5, moderate damage to 3.5 through 8.5, and low damage from 8 meters to 10. So that's basically a 0.9 meter lethal range added to the frag grenade. The effective range of the stun grenade has been increased too. The maximum effective range of stun grenades has been increased to 20 meters, so longer range on stun grenade. Depending on distance from explosion, the direct effect can blind players for a maximum of 5.5 seconds and a minimum of 1 second when 20 meters away. Depending on distance from the explosion, the indirect effect can blind other players for a maximum of 3 seconds. Characters blinded by the stun grenade now cover their faces, so a new animation. Spectators are now blinded when spectating someone hit with the stun grenade. The stun grenade will now briefly blind and deafen the thrower if they explode behind their backs when cooked. You'll now be unable to use ADS when blinded, so that's a big change right there. You can't aim down the sight when you're blinded. Another big change to the grenades is Molotov cocktails. They now have a new effect, and their damage has been increased, so huge change to Molotovs as well. Molotovs can now deal indirect damage and burn damage as damage over time, depending on whether or not you're standing directly in the flames. If you're in the flames, you'll take both types of damage, so a lot of damage over time and direct damage when you're in the flames. Indirect damage taken when standing in flames has been increased from 10 to 12.5. After catching fire, the players will burn, so you'll have a burn effect. You'll now be unable to aim down sight when taking damage. Flames now spread further along wooden surfaces and houses, which I'll show you guys in the video in a second. Flames from Molotov spread even further when thrown from the top of flames. Oh, so you could throw Molotovs on top of Molotovs and they spread further. That's really cool. A new animation has been added, adjust some weapon attachments, balances, decreased basic damage to M24. Oh, a big change here. M24 will no longer drop in care packages. It's a world spawn, and they lower the damage on it. Tactical stock and cheek pad now less effective at improving recoil recovery rate. It now improves ADS, so that's interesting. Adjusted light grip. Light grip no longer affects weapon basic recoil or recoil recovery speed. Light grip now decreases first shot single recoil by about 15%, so tapping with the light grip will be better than spraying because the first shot has less recoil. Animation kick reduction has been changed from 20 to 30%. To make the vector a little easier to find, we've increased its spawn rate at the expense of the rate of the UMP9. Overall SMG spawn rate remains the same, so you'll have more vectors, less UMPs. Increase the world spawn rate of DMRs. That's great. I didn't feel like there was enough of those. I'm sad they were decreasing the spawn rate of the UMPs to give us the really bad vector, so that's kind of bad. So before we go too far here, let's just take a look here at the video they're showing to showcase the grenades. So this is the Molotov cocktails. As you can see, break down doors. For some reason he stood in it. Breaks down doors, and you can see here there's this is the range of the Molotov when it hits the door, so it spread more than usual. And then they threw another Molotov on top, which spread basically to the entire other side of the room. So stacking Molotov is going to be really good, and it looks like you could shoot them out of the air as well. Oh my god, that's really cool. It doesn't look like the flames drop, they just blow up. So there is a change to the Molotov cocktails. If you want to take a look at the frag grenade scale, there's one here, you can pause it if you'd like. They're also going to add a new anti-cheat tech system. I don't know how it's going to work. I do know that they're going to have it on the test server for now and then implement it on to the live server once they get it all figured out. You're going to be able to enable it or disable it on the test server, and if it gives you problems you can disable it. Once it's on the the main server, you're not going to be able to disable it. So if you guys want to try out a new anti-cheat, I hope it's really good because, you know, nobody likes hackers. So you guys can test that out on the test server tonight. And then they have some performance issues that they resolved here. Some character model, some rendering, and a really excited one they added was the important one here is the netcode. We made some improvements to our netcode to reduce latency. I'm hoping that's a lot because that's the main problem we have with PUBG bullets hitting or not hitting when you think they do, because their netcode isn't the best. And then some physics changes. A big change with the sound. You can now toggle the new HRTF head-related transmission function sound feature in the options menu for opponent's gunshot sounds only. So the opponent gunshot, this feature which simulates fully three-dimensional sound even on so even if you have a bad headset. They said they explained it better in their previous dev blog, but you'll be able to hear if the shot is high or low. I think that's what it means. You'll be able to hear a little bit better where the sound is coming from for enemy gunshots. So that's really interesting. Average swimming distance has been added to player stats on the career screen. That's useless. The total rating points gain loss per match has been increased to better define the skill difference between players. This is interesting. So the leaderboard, there was a change in the leaderboard. The total rating points gained or lost per match has been increased. So when you win a match, you'll gain more rating points. When you lose a match, you'll lose more. Which basically means you'll be put with... It's a more harsh system of rating you, but when you're doing good, you'll be placed with really good people. When you're doing bad, you'll be with bad people. That's essentially what that means. So when you're doing bad, it'll be easier to get up there. When you're doing good, it's a little more challenging, harder, however you want to put it. And then they have some bug fixes. You can take a look there if you want. I'm not going to go ahead and read them all, but just some bug fixes there. Yeah, so that looks like that's all for this patch, guys. I hope you enjoyed the first video in my collection of patch notes for PUBG. If you want to see more, make sure to subscribe or check out the link to my Discord, YouTube, Twitter. All the links are down below if you guys want to check it out. I appreciate your support. I'm signing off. You guys stay trusty.